The question that we got this week is related to hip pain, or basically how much strain does the hip get if you have a hip injury, things to consider, and that's what I want to talk about really quick. So if you've got a range of motion limitation with your hip, just decrease your stroke. That would be the first thing. Second, it really depends on what your injury is. If you're getting pinching in the front of your hip, that's a little bit different than pain on the outside of your hip, which is a little bit different than getting a total hip replacement. So all of those different things that you might have going on in the hip, it kind of depends on what's causing it to really determine what the best course of action is for you and rowing. When it comes to being on the rowing machine, when we get into that catch position, and sorry I'm not on my rower, my husband kind of made a mess of our garage with a friend with his wood stuff, so I'm not out there. But when we get into that catch position, we are in a position that's like this. Now, if I take my arm away, that angle is a pretty high angle. So it's usually past 90 degrees. So if I take my trunk and take my leg, that angle is usually more than 90 to probably about 100-ish, depending on how close up you get at the catch. So if you have a range of motion limitation and you're not quite able to get to that 100 degrees, that's something to consider. If you're getting that pinching, you want to stay away from pinching pains. We don't want that. So really depends on what's going on, but first recommendation would just be decrease that drive and that recovery, so that when you decrease the recovery, the length of your stroke, so that when you're going up to the catch, you're not as compressed and you're going to have a smaller angle in the hip, which is better. So that's less likely to cause pain and injury. If you're coming back from a surgery or something like that, just stay in the range that's pain-free, that's comfortable for you, where you're not pushing into something, and stay in that range that's comfortable. That would be the main takeaway for if you're having some hip stuff. When it comes to the muscles we use, we're mainly using the quad muscle, and the quad muscle is in the front of that hip, or the front of the leg, and it actually crosses your hip joint. So we are using muscles that are in the hip when we are rowing. So we are putting some extra strain on it, but in a good way with that strengthening component that we need. So kind of depends on what's going on. Hey, Carol, thanks for joining, and what's happening for you. So just keep that in mind. I hope that helps a little bit. It does put you into a crunched up position, puts a little bit more strain on that hip. If you're having something going on, just try decreasing that range. If you've got other stuff going on or you need some help, I do go over this in my course, Indoor Rowing for Beginners, where we talk about hip pain and how to avoid getting hurt, and how to basically not aggravate that hip when you're rowing. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me. I also do one-on-one sessions where I can look at you off the rower and on the rower, and we can come up with modifications for you to get you back to rowing the way that you were before you had an injury, or get you back from that injury. So just reach out to me. But yeah, I hope that helps some of you out. Basically, we do use our hip. We can't not. And the biggest part is a little bit of strength in that front, and honestly, we also need that flexibility from that hamstring in the back, but it's mostly a compression type of thing that usually happens for people who are having hip pain. All right, I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I put new things out weekly so you can get new information. You can also join the Keep Rowing Longer Facebook group, where you can ask your questions and get your questions answered quickly. So if you're interested in that, I'd love to see you there. There's a link in that description below, and I hope to see you there and chat soon.